be a second. Now then, I just want to say a big hello to one of our favourites, Karen Cruz. I just want to say thank you, Karen, for coming in as a guest to inspire so many brilliant entrepreneurs. I know that you're one of them, but when you first started, you were just an absolute vampot. I'm sure you're still a vampot. But we just want to get to know more about you, more about your story, and more about, how you've made it in business so far. And we've got the lovely Brian here ready to ask any questions. Is that right, Brian?
Going to be asking lots. You don't need anyone else.
Oh my goodness.
Yay. Brian, can you keep a close eye on the Facebook live feed just in case anybody asks any questions on that for us? And Karen, tell us more about you. Tell us your story. Tell us about you.
Oh my goodness. Well, hello everybody. Hi Brian. Hi Paula.
Hiya.
Thanks for having me on, actually. And I did laugh at your description of me as a crackpot because I think I absolutely am, and I'm proud. I'm quite proud of it, and I've not lost that crazy part of me, to be honest. And it actually helps working with the kids to be slightly bonkers. So I'm very proud of that. But yeah, so I'm Karen Cruz. I don't know where to start really. I left school with nothing, no qualifications whatsoever. So I was totally written off at school, and my teachers I'm talking about the 70s when I left school. So I'm obviously quite young. Yeah, we were. The school I went to used to be a grammar school, and then we went in as all the scruffs. We were kind of the first commoners to go in there, so their view of us wasn't great. And plus, we'd come from quite a deprived background in Leeds as well, which was stereotypically thought of quite poorly. So yes, I left school with nothing. I thought I was absolutely rubbish at everything. Had no confidence whatsoever. My self-esteem was rock bottom. And when I told my careers teacher that I wanted to be a teacher, they kind of just laughed and said, you just go and do a secretarial course. And I thought, okay. So I actually did go and do a secretarial course, and then that landed me a job in housing. And I actually spent 30 years of my life in social housing.
Wow.
Yeah,
30 years.
absolutely loved it. So, but again,
3-0, 30.
30, yeah, 30
Oh
years, yeah.
my.
25 of them was with one organisation, but we merged a lot, so it was never like the same job. We must have merged about 4 or 5 times with different organisations. So when I first started, we owned 4,000 properties, and when I left, we owned about 40,000. So that just shows you how we grew as an organisation. And what saved me was our chief exec was a really forward-thinking guy that was into training and development, and he must have seen my potential. So he pushed me to go back to college, which I was like, boss, I can't learn this. I left school with nothing. I can't go to college. He's like, no, you need to go back. I went back, failed the first year, failed the second year. He's like, no, keep going. Finally passed my third year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he would encourage me to do things, like that you hated, like public speaking and presentations, and encouraged me to go for different jobs within the organisation. So I kind of started getting promoted a little bit. And then I got to quite a senior level within the organisation. He was like, right, at this level, you need to get a degree. I'm like, university is like, no chance. It's never been mentioned in our family. It's not something we do. People like me don't go to universities. Like, Karen, you need a degree at this level. And I'm like, right, okay. They offered to pay for me. So I'm like, all right then. So I went to uni while I was working full time. I went on a night and I did a bachelor's degree, and I passed. I passed my degree with honours.
Yeah.
And your confidence starts to grow because you start to question yourself and think, well, surely I can't be not clever. Surely I can't be thick like they told me I was at school. Surely there must be a bit more to me than that. And I loved my job. And by the time I left, I was a senior manager for one of the biggest housing associations in Yorkshire, which is like, and I was earning some serious money, like unheard of in where I came from, and had no intentions of leaving. And then my husband got really poorly. He got diagnosed with a brain tumour, and they only gave him 18 months to live. So I decided to leave. But before I'd left, again, our boss, Steve Close, and I still talk about him now when I do presentations in schools, colleges, universities. He's still part of my presentation. He introduced some coaches for us as senior managers to help us through the massive change that was going on and to help us coach our staff. And I absolutely fell in love with coaching. I'm like, this stuff is like magical. It's like amazing. I love it. And then he gave us the opportunity to train and qualify as coach. And I was like, yeah, I'll have that. I mean, the course was about $5,000. I'm like, yeah, have that. So I qualified as a coach about 15 years ago. And then, but then left suddenly because my husband was poorly. But what we discovered was after about 2 years, we found out that the diagnosis was wrong. And this April, we'll celebrate 8 years of his life. So he's still with us.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I'm like, he's a bit of a pain, but he's still alive. He's my pain.
He's still here.
He's still here. And so, you know, sometimes you need something that just gives you that kick up the backside to go, stop messing about. I'm going to swear them. Stop messing about. Do what you've always wanted to do. And I've always wanted to work with young people, always. And so I thought, I am going to teach. That's what I'm going to do. I know they told me I couldn't do it at school, but I'm going to go teach. But I still didn't have my GCSEs, and I wanted to teach primary school, and you needed your GCSEs for primary school. So I thought, if I can pass a degree, I can pass my GCSEs. So at the ripe old age of 52, I went back to college, sat my GCSEs that they told me I could not pass at school, and I absolutely smashed them.
Oh, bloody hell, wow.
Got all my GCSEs. And then I thought, right, now I'm going to be a teacher. And every teacher that I met said, if you really want to make a difference to children's lives, no, teaching's not it. And I'm like, what? After all that I've been through. So I thought, well, what can I do instead? And I thought, coaching. I'm going to use coaching to work with young people to show them that, you know, if I can achieve what I've achieved, little old me, who's average Karen, if I can achieve it and make something of my life, then there's no reason why they can't too, just using the coaching skills and techniques that we learn. So I just set my business up. I had no clue about business. I still really don't. I just know I'm a really good coach. So I set up my business about 4 years ago. Started working in, well, going around schools and just told them my story. It was just before then, actually, that I met Paula, if you remember Paula. And I had about 2 assignments to do to finish to actually get my coaching qualification. And I've been prattling about, and Paula just, again, gave me that kick up the arse. She asked me one of those coaching questions. Well, she actually said to me, we're in, was it Starbucks?
Yeah.
We're in. And I was saying, yeah, I really want to just I want to just finish these assignments and get my qualification, you know, get my certificate, but I've got all this to do and all that to do. And she just went, you don't really want it. And I'm like, what? She says, you don't really want it. I went, I do. She goes, well, if you did, you'd just stop pissing about and you'd go and get it done. I'm like, okay, I'm going to show you. And then about a month later, I sent an email to Paula and went, I've done it, and I've got my certificate to prove it. And so then I just started to go around schools and tell them my story. And you know, Paula gave me some great tips as well around kind of how to sell myself. And we had a conversation about my day rate, if you remember, Paula.
Yeah.
I suggested a particular day rate, and Paula were like, don't be ridiculous. And I thought, I'm too expensive. And she went, you need to double it. I'm like, oh, damn. And then the first school I went to that offered me some work, they were like, right, okay, so what can you do for us? I went, well, I can do this, and they were like, that sounds amazing. What's your day rate? And I had my day rate, 250, Paula's day rate, 500, 250, 500, 250. And I went, £500. And they went, oh, that's great. I'm like, yeah. I got in my calendar and I went, Paula, guess what?
Like, yes.
when I used to talk to Paula, she'd be like, so, do you want to make a lot of money? I'm like, oh no, I don't really need to make a lot of money. I just want to change people's lives. And now I'm like, I want to make loads of money, because the more money I can make, the more children we can help. And so I started working in lots of schools. I started working in universities, helping children with their confidence, their self-esteem. We're coaching teachers. We're coaching all sorts of people. But then what I realised after about 4 years was the people that we really wanted to help, kids from really disadvantaged backgrounds, parents as well, couldn't afford us. So last year, I set up Flourished Minds as a social enterprise. Again, I have no clue about social enterprises, but I found someone who did. So he showed me how to set my company up. And we did that because that allows us to apply for public funding, which means that we can still get paid as coaches, but the service that we deliver to colleges and schools in particular is free for the school. So we set it up, and I was just about to launch my business on my birthday, 2019, and which was the 21st of March. And on the 23rd of March, lockdown happened, or 24th of March, when they were all like, oh my God, we have to cancel the launch, cancel everything. But we still kept going. And in the last 9 months of lockdown, 12 months, we've been the busiest ever. And I had never written bids before, and I have had to learn a new skill of bid writing. 2019, yeah, I've had to learn a new skill of bid writing, and in that time, we've managed to successfully get just under £70,000 in bids successfully, that we just use to coach children in schools.
Wow.
So just like taken off massively. So we do that as a company. Privately, I'm coaching children in the Netherlands. I'm coaching children in Canada. We're coaching children all over. And when I spoke to Paula the other day, Paula was like, as she always does, what are your numbers? I'm like, what are your numbers? Like, what numbers? How many children do you want to reach? And I was like, 5,000. And she's like, another knot, please. And actually, Paula, I put another knot on there. We want to reach actually millions and millions of children across the world, because the work we do transforms young people's lives. And we are what I call intuitive coaches. So, we don't sit in front of children with a workbook and a program and they've got to go through this. We can work with them wherever they want to go. So that's the difficulty that gives me, though, is trying to recruit the right people into my business. So that's quite hard, because we need people in the business who love kids, who are great at coaching, but who are really passionate about what they do. So I've got someone else now working with me, where we're actually looking at franchising the business, which still scares me. I know, I'm like, can you believe it, Paula? Like, remember when you met me like 4.5 years ago? Like, I had no clue about anything. And now we're like, right, how do we scale up now so that we can reach as many young people as possible? And our starting point with every child is, there's something about, we just find their spark. We don't care what it is. We never start with academics. It's never about academics. It sometimes goes back to that. We start with, tell me what you're good at. Tell me what you love. Tell me what you'd love to do. If there were no limits whatsoever, what would you love to do? Right, we're going to do it. Wow. I can't miss. Well, we're going to show you how you can. So that's me.
I can imagine how powerful that is, but we'll come to that in a second. Right, let's go back a couple of years ago, and you were like, I've got this dream. So you, was it with Arbonne at the time?
Oh, yeah. And I used to do Arbonne.
Not doing it for me, but I've got this dream. And we worked out the dream, what it was going to be, and it was bang in the middle of school holidays in the summer.
Yeah.
But you were so eager to try and just to get it started. Can you tell the listeners what you did to get it started, so by September you were thriving?
I think it was just getting in touch with schools and telling them my story. Emailing people. I didn't care whether it was school holidays or not school holidays. I was like, emailing people, who can I contact? I remember you, Paula, saying to me, my LinkedIn page was ridiculous. I had about 30 connections, and you were like, right, you need to get yourself up to 500? Yeah. And I'm like, 500? You're like, yeah, that's your target, 500. No mess about, you need to crack on. I've got thousands now. And most of my work actually comes from LinkedIn. When I
Brilliant.
think back, the schools that I'm in an amazing school now, and it's the head teacher contacted me through LinkedIn to do some voluntary work just for one morning. This was 3 years ago, and we're still in there. Our first bid for 25 grand was with that school. And when the funding ran out, she's like, I still want to keep you. We're going to find some money. We're going to keep you. And last week, she offered me another 3 months. So once you get into schools and you can show them what you do, and what I actually did do was I did some work voluntary. So I
Yeah.
went into schools and I was like, and Paula again, do you know, I didn't realise how much influence you had on me. Paula was like, limit how much time you do on a voluntary basis. Don't go in there and do it long term. So I went into schools and said, right, I know you don't know me from the education side of things. So give me a group of kids. I'll give you an hour a week for 6 weeks. I'll work with those children. If you like what I do, fine. If you don't, not a problem. And every single piece of work I've got now with every school, with Leeds Beckett University and the other universities that I'm at, has all started on a voluntary basis, going in and just proving myself and just getting out of my own way and just cracking on with it.
I love
It's been
that.
amazing.
I love that because, like, when you first started, getting to know each other and stuff, I was like, right, get into schools, but we just didn't know how to get you into schools. At the time, I remember, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy, honest. But what was your biggest secret on getting into schools?
I think it was having a strong story. And I remember one of the teachers saying to me, this is no word of a lie. I went in to see her and we sat talking and said, this is what I can offer you. This is my story. This is what's happened. And this is why I feel I can help the kids. And she said to me, she said, there's just a spark in your eye. There's just some sort of energy and I'm going to give you a chance. And
Wow.
that's what it was.
So it was your energy that
And
opened up
people,
the doors.
yeah. People talk to me a lot about that, about my energy. I just think they're saying that you're quite bonkers or you're a bit loud. I don't know what it is, but people talk about my energy all the time. For me, do you know what I think it is, Paula? I just genuinely love what I do. I
Yeah.
genuinely love when I sit in front of a child and they say to me, are you saying if I do this, this, and this, I can be this? And I'm like, yeah. But how, miss? Right. If you're willing to work with me, I'm going to show you how. Right. And I'll have schools send me children and they go, you'll struggle with this one because they don't talk much. After the session, they're like, how did it go? And I'm like, they didn't stop talking.
So they don't talk much in front of the teacher, but with you, they just can't shut up.
Can't shut up. And I think a lot of it is, and when we work with, schools are saying this and parents are saying this. And the thing is that we go in with no baggage. So I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to tell you off. I'm not a parent. And we actually say to them, I don't care what's happened in the past because we are about the now and the future. So your past doesn't define you. It's about tell me where you are now and what you want to achieve. And we're going to work on all that stuff in the middle that's stopping you being amazing. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is something amazing about you and I'm going to find it. And we use that hook to go, right, let's help you to shine. So I genuinely love what I do. It's that I get the most joy when I can see a child start to realize how fabulous they are. It's
Oh,
like, ah!
yeah. Hang on there, Brian. I can see that that resonated with you. What hit home there?
Mega. Just when she said about like just being given a chance, the past doesn't matter. Totally resonate with me because I mean I don't know you, but my history is being brought up in children's homes, never went to school, was abused as a kid, homeless at 16, 20 years alcohol addiction, then given 6 months to live in 2005. And just not only just what you said there, the whole thing, everything you brought up, the notes are just crazy about you having the social enterprise the same as I've got now and getting into schools. How the hell did you get in? Because I'm still trying to get in. I've been trying for years to get into schools to like share my story, to try and help young kids to not make the mistakes I did.
Yeah.
And your story is just amazing. I just get so many connections I've got in social enterprise circles that would love to get to know you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and you're right, Brian. Schools are quite cynical, and they don't like to spend the money, and they are defensive about people coming in. But again, I'm referring to Paula again. But one of the things you said to me, Paula, that has always stuck with me is about. I remember you saying something like, you can have as glossy leaflet as you want, and it can all look amazing. But if you're not hitting their pain points, it's not going to work. So I would do some research on schools. I'm like, okay, so absenteeism is an issue here. Or I'd find someone who works there and go, what's the biggest problem at your school? Oh, anxiety, kids in isolation, or exclusion numbers. All right, okay. So I've done quite a bit of homework, either by just looking at the Ofsted reports or finding someone I know who knows something about the school. And then I'll go in and go, so listen, I know I can save you money. You've got a real issue with absenteeism. Give me a few kids and I will help you to solve that. Sorry, yes, Brian?
You know, it just brought back a memory there. I think it's still on my Facebook profile. I remember just before lockdown. Oh, by the way, it's 2020. That's what it wasn't 2019 that the lockdown was. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier.
2020, yeah. I've lost my dates now,
It's okay.
Brian. I don't know what date it is or anything.
But it was. Oh, don't talk to me about memory. It was just. It was like what I ended up doing was I thought, how can I get into schools? And I ended up jumping in the deep end and becoming a school governor, thinking I'll get access to schools. But because I was a school governor, the teachers were hiding from me because they don't want me to know what's going on.
Don't tell him all.
It was the first thing I did.
Yeah, I'm a governor as well, and I'm a governor really because I want to get really into how schools are working and get into their system and into their everything really. But that can limit what you do as well. But with universities, it was even better because a couple called me in. One just called me in after I did a motivational talk. It was a 40-minute talk, and honestly, I've got 3 years worth of work out of that.
wow.
And the other one, they asked me in where on a particular course they had a lot of students dropping out, and I went in with the mindset that every student I saves you £9,000. So I'm going to charge you serious money, but I'm going to show you that I'm good at what I do. And I was there for about 2.5, nearly 3 years there as well. And in fact, the professor that got me into the uni, he's now one of my directors.
Is it?
Yeah, I got a professor on my team, on my board.
Check you out.
I know. I've only got him there because he's a professor and his name is well known. So I'm thinking you'll be useful.
And he's listening to this today.
Probably is. Yeah, I've told him.
Right, let's come back to you then. So I can see that you've got passion about helping kids. Why kids? Why does that resonate with you?
I think because of what happened to me, and also a lot of the issues that we all have stem from a young age. Either things we've picked up or we've been told or we've copied. A lot of the behaviours we see with young people are copied behaviour, even if it's bad tempers or whatever it might be, bad attitudes. And I'm not like a softly touchy-feely coach. I am listen, your attitude is really, really bad. It stinks. And if you're going to be whatever you want to be, we're going to have to do something about that. But I'm doing that with love. Yeah, all right then, miss. So, I don't do the, oh, Paul, the teacher's awful. I do, well, something must have happened, but we're going to work on what that was and we're going to try and change it. But I just think getting in there early and helping children at an early age to start to feel better about themselves will help them to be more fulfilled adults. So I never used to do primary school. I used to really focus on secondary school and colleges and universities. And then a few people said to me, well, why don't you start a bit younger? And I'm like, oh, well, they won't really get it. But so I don't really work with children under 8, because I still do need children who are at an age where they can start to think about things and be a bit self-aware and make some decisions. But yeah, I think that getting in there with the youngsters and helping them to start to think differently at that age is probably much easier, and I find kids more eager to want to. So I get a bit frustrated with adults. I'll be really serious because I feel, you know, you've got the resources, you can make decisions, you can do stuff, where I'm working with children who are in really challenging, they're in poverty, really challenging, tough situations, and they're eager to do something with their lives. I'm like, right then, come on, you know, I can help you to do this.
Yeah.
So that's why I love kids. And like I said, they kind of just lap it up.
Yeah. Can you give
But
us like an example of where you've took over one kid and to where they've then blossomed?
there's one young boy I've been working with for about 4 months now, and he has got like a tough life. I mean, some situations that we work in, you know, make you want to weep. His home life's challenging. We're talking about abject poverty, and they were saying to me, "Oh, we're not sure if he'll talk to you." And he used to come in and he'd like he would never sit down. He'd just walk around the room and bang things. And you know, normally a teacher would go, sit down, stop banging. I just let him walk around and I let him bang whatever he wanted to bang. And it's about trust. So it was probably the third or fourth time that he actually sat down and we started talking properly. But what he used to always talk to me about was Minecraft. I don't know much about Minecraft. I think it's boring, really. But he would give me all these details about Minecraft and what he does, all the worlds that he builds, all these demons that he destroys, all this stuff. He's really strategizing. And he's like, I'm boring you, right? And I'm like, you're not boring me. And I'll tell you why you're not boring me, because you're just showing me that you've got everything you need to be successful. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, you've come in here, you've talked to me really clearly about something I don't know. You've helped me to understand it. You've told me how you plan. You've told me how you focus. You've told me how you've been practicing. You've told me how you've won wars. You're a winner already.
Yeah.
He goes, but miss, I'm crap at maths. All right, okay. So all those things you've used in Minecraft, all we need to do is transfer them over to maths. So we need to focus a little bit more. We need to practice a little bit more. You need to start believing in yourself a little bit more. And each time you do that, I am telling you, and I'm like, I'm guaranteeing you, you will get better at maths. And he wants to be an author. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And he thinks he's rubbish at writing, but he's amazing at writing. And so he's gone from thinking he's absolutely rubbish to just being elected onto their school council.
Oh wow. That is
Yeah,
awesome. That is
I
like a
know.
role model, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So I'm saying, right, so how did you get on the school council? Because I'm like, hang on a minute. So a few months ago, you were telling me nobody likes you and you're really rubbish at everything and you can't get, and now you're on the school council. Well, yeah. So people have voted you onto the school council. I'm just asking because I don't know. Well, yeah, but what? Well, yeah, they've voted on me. So why do you think they've done that? You know, so again, just getting them to really think about the fact that they're not this horrible person they think they are, or worthless person that they think they are. And I use any example, anything, to just, like I said, it's just finding that hook to go. So if you can do this, there is no reason why you can't do this, none whatsoever.
So you're looking for the hook, you're finding the strengths, looking for the hook to bring them in to trust you and then to get them doing amazing stuff. Wow, how powerful is that? That's
Very.
impact, Karen. Yeah. So, question then. What's been the biggest challenge in your business that you've overcome?
The biggest challenge that I've overcome. Probably myself. Probably, and I do still work on myself a lot, but probably that thing about, am I good enough? I get that sometimes. Um, and will I really be able to do this? And who'll really be interested in what I'm doing? And I think believing in my story. So my story, my life is what's built my business. My business is built on that. And when I say to children, so when they go, like the older ones go, oh, we had our mocks last week, miss, I only got one GCSE. I'm like, so you've started in a better position than I started. What do you mean? I didn't have any.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So if I can leave school with nothing and now have two successful businesses, a Bachelor of Arts degree, but earning this sort of money, there is no reason why you can't do it, because you're already cleverer than me and the like. Okay. But I think in terms of challenges, it's really been about just believing in what I'm doing a lot. And I've heard myself the other day say, I am a really good coach. And I probably would never have said that. But I'm really good at what I do. I'm really good at what I do. And I love working with kids. And we don't write anybody off. The biggest challenge for me right now, like I said, is getting the right people into the organisation, because we do want to scale up.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about, how we recruit, what we do, where we find these people. But for me to really achieve what I want to achieve, I have to have lots of amazing coaches into Flourished Minds.
So how many are you thinking?
Well, we're thinking in the next 6 months, at least 10. But if we're going worldwide, we'll need hundreds.
Yeah, definitely. So is this all on Zoom and stuff like that?
At the moment,
Well, will it be, if it's global, will it be going on Zoom or?
well, probably Zoom, or I can see myself flying off to Japan, or, why not? But, and that was the other challenge, actually, Paula, that so we started Flourished Minds in the March, and then lockdown happened a couple of days after. And I thought, for me, I thought, that's it, income over, not even started, and because I'm not going to be working in schools, and it's just not going to happen. But Zoom has saved us. So most of the coaching we do is over Zoom, and coaching works much better face to face. And I'm just thinking, it just never work over Zoom, but it does. So with some schools, I still go in, but Zoom has saved our business. That's why we've got 4 clients in the Netherlands. We've got 2 in Canada, and it's all by Zoom. And a couple of schools that we're in, they're all Zoom. And when we started in one of the other schools, some of the kids, it was difficult when they were at home during lockdown, because sometimes the internet wasn't great, or so we'd do whatever was needed. We'd coach by phone, we were video WhatsApping, because we had like younger kids as well, and were messing about with the microphones and messing about with Zoom, and we're like, right, I need you to sit still, and I need you to look in your phone, and I just need you to talk to me. So we just did whatever we needed to do: phone, WhatsApp, FaceTime, Zoom, anything.
Wow. And the kids these days, I don't know, but when I've got my daughter days in that, she's even taught me how to do video. Like, it's the
Yeah.
natural thing is to send you a text with a video on. I'm like, what the hell? Where's this
Yeah.
come from? I'm like, I'm not even, I'll do about 20 takes, but she's just like,
Yeah, they are quite savvy, aren't they?
yeah.
Now we're coaching teachers to teach with a coaching approach.
Oh, brilliant.
Um,
Fantastic.
so about just thinking about the language and how they speak to children, because it makes a massive difference. In fact, I think again it was you when the first opportunity came up for me to do this. I was like, I can't do it. There's no way I can stand in front of teachers and talk to them about teaching. And you said to me, Karen, what have they asked you to do? And I said, they've asked me to go and talk to them about coaching. Right. So you go in there, you tell them what you know, you tell them what you do around coaching, you tell them what works. And if they want it, they'll take it. And if they don't, that's their loss. Up to you. And I've been in that school for 3 years, and we've just won a 10 grand bid with that school we're coaching now.
No way.
Honestly, yeah.
Oh,
And that
that's
was you
incredible.
going, get in there and just stop doubting yourself and crack on. I was like, all right, Paula. But yeah, they asked me back again and again and again. And then we put this bid in together and won 10 grand.
Wow. So let me ask you a question then. I know that we have banter, and I'm always like, just sort it fucking out, like, get on with it, type of thing. But how many kids have you inspired now from having the balls to face your fears and your doubts and your self doubts and all that crap, and you just gone and done it? How many kids did you now inspired?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And that's indirectly as well. So indirectly through teachers going in with a different approach, indirectly with coaching parents. A teacher rang me, and again from LinkedIn, someone recommended me to her. They're down south in London, and she rang me and said, we clicked straight away, and she asked me to do some workshops for parents. So I did 5 workshops, an hour a week for parents, just talking about, again, language and how to have better relationships with your children. And she's now asked me to do, 13 weeks of workshops with the parents and the children in the school. And I'm actually now coaching one of the children privately through the school as well. So there's just no limits. So I couldn't put a number, and I know you would say put a number on it, but it's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Wow. Brian's made a comment. Brian, do you want to just tell us your comment?
Yeah, Paula just said there a question like how many kids. On top of that, just imagine how many families you've helped. Just imagine that, and like you've probably stopped kids having to go into care because of the work you've done. It's how it all grows down the line. I just, where have you been in my life? I just want to know.
I've been doubting myself all my life, Brian. That's the problem. But you're absolutely right. Like I said, our work is limitless. And I think one of the things I might have said to Paul when we first started, in terms of a business, it's not as if I'm making cups that people are going to get sick of or order once a year, or I'm not making something that's going to run out. There will always be children. There'll always be children, and there'll always be children that need help. Always, 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 always. So in terms of some sustainability within the business, that makes total sense. And now it's just how we scale that up, how we make sure we're secure, how I don't want to fall flat on my face by missing a trick, getting all the right policies and procedures in place, getting the foundations really well. And I used to have this thing about, how much people cost. So at first I got a cheap website made and it was all right. But I'm like, and then I've met a guy who's just built a few months ago, built Flourished Minds, and he was expensive, but the amount of work I've got through that website. And I've had mums ring me up and say, we wanted to use, but we weren't sure. And my son's had a look at your website and said, oh, now that I've seen the website, I want to meet Karen. So people have talked about it, giving them a nice, warm, fluffy feeling. And it's just it's just me is that website. It's not officious and boring. It's a little bit bonkers, but it's just a nice, warm website.
So you said about your website being expensive. Was it expensive or was it cheap for the amount of money you've brought in?
Well, now it's like cost me now.
Hey! Because I remember when you did, is it KarenCruise.com or was it KarenCruise.co? What was it?
What's that?
Was your website previously Karen Cruise Coaching or something?
Cruise Coaching Consultancy. So that's my first company, and now Flourished Minds. But interestingly, the guy that's built my website, I think why it's worked so beautifully is he loves what we do. So he's a father to 3 boys. He loves our work, and he's put his heart into it. And we're making plans for him to be part of Flourished Minds team. He wants to be on our team to do all kind of our marketing and digital stuff. But he's absolutely amazing. He's such a great guy to have. I couldn't have got where I am as quickly without some of the work he's helped me to do.
That's brilliant. Okay, right. How did you learn how to get cash out of the government?
Just practice, really. So, you set these things up, right? Okay, well, this is the most ridiculous thing. When I first started Cruise Coaching Consultancy, a guy that helped me set up Flourished Minds at that time 4 years ago said, why don't you do a social enterprise? And I'm like, how can you make money from a social enterprise? I'm not having one of them things. Every time you get paid well. And then when people started struggling to afford us, I'm like, I might go down this social enterprise route malarkey, not realizing that as part of your bid, you build your expenses in your bid, don't you? Hello. I get paid well. We've got a few. I have got some associate coaches that work with me now. They get paid well, and so I didn't even think about having to write bids. And I'm like, all right, so I'll have to write a bid. Okay. What do I do? I have no clue. Then I remembered that I knew a woman who was kind of a bid writer type person. So we kind of got her on board. And what she does is she scours the earth for bids and goes, right, there's this bid, there's this bid, there's this bid. And I'm like, right, okay. And it was just getting my head around what do they want? you know, what needs to make it work. And I won't lie, some of my first bids were, I was too passionate, it was too emotional. And now they've got a bit more businessy, but still got the passion in it. You need to make sure the figures work. And I've learned by the knockbacks that we've got. So when they've knocked us back, we've asked for feedback and they've said it wasn't value for money or it didn't quite hit the target market. We're going to like, right, okay, this one's going to be value for money and this is going to be this. And sometimes we've even lowered our costs so that we can get the bid to start to get a bit of reputation. So we've done that as well. And we've just, yeah, I've just learned how to write bids.
That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Because that's
It's
really,
hard though.
yeah. And the pitching, I would say, as well.
Yeah.
And putting it out there. So, okay. Let me ask you a question then. We talked about how many kids you're going to inspire to be the best version of themselves. So, what's the number?
1 million.
So, nah, you're playing safe. Is that 10 million instead of a million? Which one is it?
Let's just add a note on it.
Yeah.
1 million. Yeah, and it's got to be in the millions. There's no doubt about it. It's got to be in the millions. And so I've got to be sensible about, I want to grow, but I want to grow in a way that I don't want to rush and then, you know, we trip up and it all falls apart. I want to make sure that we're building, it's like building a house and getting the foundations right, getting the right people in. And I've actually now admitted to myself that I have to move away from being hands-on and I need to be the visionary of our company. So I mean, you'll have read the book, you know, the E-Myth.
Yep.
An amazing book. So I've been reading that again. It's a fantastic book for entrepreneurs. And so I am looking at rising myself up to, I need to be the CEO of Flourished Minds and doing what I did in the corporate world when I left, just before I left, you know, I was at that level where we were looking at, okay, so where do we want to be in the next 5 years? How are we going to get there? Which teams are working well? What do we need to do differently? How do we need to expand? That's where I see myself in the next couple of years.
Fantastic. So, in say 5 years, then, what does the business look like in 5 years' time?
In 5 years' time, I'd like to think we're in at least 10 different countries. Wow. And we've got 40 associate coaches working for us who are absolutely fabulous. You know, we've even talked about, so Boris Johnson, God bless him, has talked about all these millions that he's going to be giving to schools for, you know, well-being and all that stuff. And I'm like, right, I need to be speaking to Boris Johnson and going, listen, we have got a fantastic track record for helping children with their social and emotional well-being. Can we have some of that money, please? Yeah. And this is where people like the professor comes in, where, you know, a letter with his input on it. There's what do you call her? Head of the council. She's not head of the council. Mayor of Leeds.
Okay, yeah.
So I know the mayor of Leeds. She's like, if you need my letterhead, you can use my letterhead. I'm like, okay, we need mayor of Leeds letterhead. We need the professor. We need to get something together to get to the government to say, and we want to be that go-to company for helping young people to flourish. That is a bit of a pun, but that's what we want to be ultimately. We want to get into, you know, where teachers are going and learning to teach, so that where they're doing their teacher training. We want to be part of that teacher training curriculum where we're saying part of your training needs to be about coaching, so you can learn how to use a coaching approach in your teaching work. So we've got massive plans.
Yeah.
Just put them all together properly and not do a Karen and just rush in and go, yeah.
But it's worked for you. It's got you where you are so far.
Yeah.
Change that.
Yeah. To say I don't know what I'm doing, I've done pretty well.
You've all right blagging it already. You've done all right. Okay, right. So, tell me about the teachers. You've got some teachers that get it, and you've got some teachers that will undo your work as soon as you finish with them. How do you help the kids protect their minds from the words the teachers use?
Well, we do a number of things. I think it's getting the child to a point where they can understand how to challenge, but challenge positively. So, Miss, you know, when you said that, it actually made me feel like this. Or I say, quote me, well, I've spoken to Karen this and she said I can do blah, 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 blah. But then the other thing that we do is, so we advocate for parents. So we will go into schools and we'll have meetings with teachers and head teachers. I had a lady contact me not long ago to say her son, they were going to have a meeting with her son and they were talking about excluding him. And I'm like, right, do you want me to come to the meeting? She's like, oh, would you? I'm like, yeah. So we went to that meeting and asked them some quite pertinent questions, and they changed their view. But we also help parents as well because a lot of parents don't challenge schools, they just accept what schools say.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, right, if you're going to this meeting, this is what you need to ask. You need to ask this. Can you just tell me how much support you've offered to my son? Can you tell me what your statistics are on black boys that you've excluded from your school? Can you tell me this? Can you? And in every case, the school have said, okay, well, we won't exclude at this point. We'll just do this, this, and this instead.
Okay.
So, but with the children, it is helping them to just feel confident to ask those right questions. Well, why? Because some teachers are, when children ask questions, they see that as the challenging in a aggressive way. Don't you dare challenge me. But I'm not challenging you. I'm just asking you a question. So you challenge it. No, I'm just asking you, right, don't like your attitude. Off you go to isolation. And you're like, come on.
Yeah.
So it's about helping the children to get to a place where they can do that, but do it effectively.
Yeah.
And also going into those schools. So I will go to a school and say, we've heard that this is an issue. Or we had a young girl who had ADHD and she wanted to have her own business. And she came to me in tears, been to maths, teacher knows she wants to start her own business. She did something in maths. And he said to her, you'll never have your own business because you can't do maths. I'm like,
you kidding?
I went to the head and said, one, I said, that's out of order. That's tantamount to bullying. And actually, if you check her Instagram account, she's got over 1,000 followers and her makeup is on point. And she's all, and I said to the young girl, you've already got everything you need to be a makeup artist. You're amazing at what you're doing. That teacher's got a real issue. So I reported him. So we do all sorts to help our children to be empowered.
Can I ask you a question then? So just with personal experience, but also experience with clients, where whatever's happened in the past when they've been at school, they've taken it throughout their life along with them, and that experience has stopped them doing whatever they wanted to do, and they've carried it as a bit of a suitcase on the back of them. What would you tell kids now to do so they never experience that return?
I think once it's a hard one to get rid of. I think I've been there as well. But one of the things we work with children is their strengths. So tell me about some of your strengths. Tell me, let's have a look at the evidence of what you're saying. Oh, I'm rubbish at this. I've always been rubbish. Always, like when? Well, tell me when you've been rubbish. Well, maybe this point and this point. But when have you been really good? Oh, I don't know. Well, let's think about when you've been really good. So we just try to get them to get a bit of a better perspective on what's actually happened. And we also get them to think about, so when that teacher said to you that you were rubbish at this, why do you think they said that? What would make them say that? Well, because they're the teacher. No, but what would make any human being say that to another human being? Well, they're probably just unkind or they're not a nice person. Okay, so that's their issue. It's not yours.
Yeah.
So you need to, let's get rid of that and let's look at the truth. The truth is you've done this and you've done this and you've got this far. Even by thinking that you're rubbish. Imagine how far you would get when you realise how amazing you are. So it's stuff like that. I mean, there's lots of different techniques we use in coaching, but it really is, you'll be pleased to know, Paula, that I'm actually doing an NLP course.
Yay!
What's all this NLP rubbish?
About time.
We're looking, I've just been looking at, I started a course actually that I'm really enjoying at the moment. But it does take some time, and it's hard for children in that we can do all this work with them and then it gets knocked out of them, not just by teachers, but sometimes at home. You want to be an astronaut? Don't be ridiculous. Where we're going, you want to be an astronaut? Let's show you how you can be an astronaut.
Yeah.
So that's why we're really pushing at the moment. The best program we've ever done was at a school where we had a 6-week program and the head was like, do you coach adults as well? I'm like, yeah. So we coach the child, we coach their teacher, and we coach their parent.
Wow, that's powerful.
Where those kids made me look so good, because we were able to turn them around in like days and weeks. You know, their behaviour was changing because we got the teachers thinking a little bit differently. We got parents using different language with the children. So rather than shouting, you know, try this approach instead. So that works really well. So that's something else that we're looking at bringing in as a program generally and delivering to schools.
Well, and NLP is a life change even for the kids. Like knowing that you're not your label,
Yeah,
knowing that your behaviour is not toxic. You know you're not toxic. The behaviour is toxic. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Knowing that everyone's got a different world
yeah,
and no one's right or wrong. It's just how they've thought. I mean, that is so powerful. Knowing that
yeah.
NLP.
The
It's
amount of times, you know, we say to children, because we get a lot of children coming to us now with anxiety, and we go, you are not anxiety. So let's take
yeah,
anxiety and we draw it. Let's draw anxiety separate to you. And the other day, this almost did make me cry. I was working with a young girl at this school that we've just got this bid for.
yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm anxious and I've got this and I've got all these issues. And I'm like, let's just go back to that time when, let's say her name was Paula. Let's go back, Paula, to when you weren't anxious. What did Paula look like then? And she's like, I just realized when my anxiety started. I know when it started and I know what happened. And I'm like, right. And she's like, so now that I know when it started and when it happened, that means I can fix it, right? And I went, absolutely.
Oh, brilliant! My God,
And honestly, my heart was like, oh my God, I didn't even know this was going to happen. But
yeah,
she just sat and thought for a while and realized exactly what it was when she started to feel a bit crap about herself and thinking she was rubbish and all this stuff. And it was just one thing that happened at school. Fell out with her best mates, and all these other friends fell out with her. And from that, her confidence and self-esteem just dropped. But now she knows that. She knows that she's not the issue. It's just this thing that happened. Right. How can we change this thing then? Because you're amazing without this thing. So how do we change that? She's like, oh
wow,
my
that's
God.
powerful. Because at that age, right, emotion and learning to deal with emotion is is one of the biggest skills you can have in life. So when the
Yeah, it
anxiety
is.
monster comes in, you know it's there to teach you or tell you something rather than hurt you. You're just
Yeah.
ignoring it, for example. For kids to learn that at that age, oh my God, I could just imagine their futures. Their futures are just going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And she is an actually amazing young lady. She wants to be an actress. I'm like, you are going to be a fantastic actress. She's quite dramatic. She's like, oh, I've had such a terrible day. And I'm like, you are going to be an amazing actress. You really are. You already are now. Um, yeah. So yeah, absolutely love what we do.
Love that, I love that. Hang on. Brian, do you have any questions?
It's just, have you ever just listening to everything you've said? Just I've got goosebumps. It's like awesome. But have you ever, as I said before, I was in care and I used to go to something called children's panels, right? Where not just naughty kids, kids that maybe their families can't cope with them and things like that. And I see you as an expert in that area sitting on that children's panel within councils. You need to find out about children's panels because I think you would do amazingly towards young people's lives if you were sitting on a children's panel with like three other people in the council and things like that that think social services. But with what you've just shared tonight, they need you. And if you shared that to them, children's panels will be running for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And interestingly, it was last Friday. So someone recommended me to social services, and I'm actually coaching a young girl that's in foster care, and she's at college, and she's bright as a button, but she's got a real issue about rejection. So she will, when it comes to assignments, and they're all being done online, before she'll do her assignment, but just as she's about to send it in, submit it, she'll check it and check it and check it and check it because she doesn't want to get it wrong. She doesn't want them to say to her, you need to do this again, because she sees that as rejection. By the time she's finished checking and checking and checking, it's in late, so she gets into trouble. And we had, they don't call it, they called it a PEP something. Anyway, it was a meeting about this young girl, and they were saying, you know, and her assignments are in late, and I'm like, can I just say, her assignments are in late because she's struggling with rejection. And rather than getting a bollocking when her assignments are late, what might help her is if someone can speak to her a week before her assignment's due in, give her some reassurance that actually your assignment's fine, and help her to get it submitted. It's not that she can't do it, because when she submits them, she's getting merits and distinctions. So there's not, but they're seeing it. So she goes in and she gets, your assignment's late. Why is it late? You're not committed. All this crap. When actually she's really committed. She knows exactly what she wants to do, but she's frightened of being rejected again because she's been rejected by mum. And they're like, oh, we didn't realise. I went, well, that's why. So they have employed me as her coach. So now I'm talking to her tutor and talking to her about, and when I say things like this, I can see their eyes rolling. When you go into these meetings with social services, I'm like, can I just tell you one thing that you could do that would really help you? So you can notice, Paula, that I've got a little bit more cocky than I used to be 5 years ago.
You've always been like this. Don't even come out.
No, I wasn't at you. I was like, oh. I'm like, one thing you might want to think about that's going to help you massively in your relationship with this young girl is actually a bit of compassion.
Yeah.
Just a bit of compassion. Show her a bit of kindness. Show her that you care. It's not hard. I know it's not what you normally do, but it's not hard because they're all, middle class, quite pompous and all this stuff. And she's a bit intimidated by them. I'm like, just be a little bit humble and show a bit of compassion. I can guarantee you she'll have a different attitude to you, because she goes in and kicks off when they go, oh, it's late again. She's like, oh, so what? And they think she doesn't care, but she does. She's just scared. I said, that's just her defense. She's just trying to protect herself. Just be nice.
It's weird, isn't it? Because people are not their behaviour. So it's like, it's easier to judge than understand and show compassion. And it's weird how people, I see things in little triangles and certain levels. I don't know why, that's just how I think. And I just think, God, man, if you actually understood why they behave that way, you'd understand why they do the things they do. Then what's the biggest fears or self-doubts or whatever's driving it.
It's so true. And we say to teachers, so when a child behaves a certain way, they're communicating to you that all is not well. That's what they're saying to you. When they come in and kick the chairs and tell you to F off and all of that stuff, and they're being disruptive, they're saying to you, all is not well with me. And our job is to find out what is not well, not to punish them and exclude them, because that doesn't help anybody. Our job is to find out what is not well. And I think the thing that kids love about us as well is that when we introduce ourselves to children, some of the first things we say is, we are not here to judge. We are not here to criticize. We are not bothered about what's happened in the past. It's like I said earlier, it's all about the now. So, and they'll tell you things to try and shock you. Well, this weekend, Miss, I've been smoking weed all weekend. I'm like, okay. No, I said, I've been smoking weed all weekend. Yeah, I heard you. So you've told me that for a reason. Well, I just thought you wanted to know. Okay. So how is that going to help you to be an astronaut? Well, it ain't really. So what are we going to do about it? But they want me to go, oh, I'm going to have to tell the police. And we don't do any of that. We just go, okay, so you've been smoking weed, or whatever it might be. I think what shocked me most of all is the range of differences that, in terms of children that we're coaching quite by accident. So we can coach someone that's got a lack of confidence, but we're also coaching children on the other extreme who have, thinking of committing suicide at 12 years old, which breaks your heart. And we're also very clear about, we're not counsellors. So we know when to go, this is not this, we know our boundaries. So this needs to be a counsellor, not us. And there's been a few children where we said, I'm sorry, we won't be able to help. But sometimes you can walk away from a session and feel like you've been a bit of a fraud, because all we've done is give that child space to talk without going, you did what? Why did you do that? We just give them that space to talk, to be who they want to be. They know that our conversations are confidential unless it's a safeguarding issue, and they know then that we'll speak to parents or we'll speak to teachers. But they know that they can come in, and once you've built that trust and rapport with them, they will just tell you stuff. And sometimes that's all they need. And we go, okay, so do you want to continue down that road, or do we want to do something differently? Well, I think I want to do something differently, but I don't know how to do it. You've come to the right place.
That's the ideal place, isn't it? Get in. Love it. Brian, did you say there was a commenter from Facebook?
Yeah, I've got a comment from one of my members at Biz Social Networking, but also a client of Paula's. Jen Campbell has written, "I'm finding this really interesting. Perfect timing. Me watching this. I'm learning about unconscious parenting and the different approaches to situations with your kids. So this is amazing to hear right now. Thank you, Karen, for this. Your energy is amazing."
Oh, thank you so much.
Jen's a little cute. So what's your thoughts of unconscious parenting, by the way?
I think it's a thing. I've been there myself, and we show habits that we've learned without even thinking about it. And what we get parents to do, or help them to do, is just to stop and think. So we had a session with some parents a couple of weeks ago on this workshop, and one of them was saying, "Oh, can you tell me how to help my child be more resilient and not, not like die when something bad happens?" And I just said, "Okay, so tell me how you react. Think of a situation where something's not gone right for you at all. Tell me how you reacted." She went, "Oh, I shout and I scream and I swear." And I'm like, and she went, "My child does that." And I'm like, and it is just thinking, spending that time to think about how we behave and taking that 10 seconds to just go, right, I just need to compose myself. I need to calm myself down. It's like when you see teachers talking to kids and they go, "Will you stop shouting?" And I'm sat in the class thinking, "But listen to you." And one of the schools I worked in, they actually had a no shouting policy.
I'll get in.
So I walked in and they were like, "You just need to know we've got a no shouting policy." I'm like, "Oh, I want to see how this works." And nobody shouted. No teachers shouted.
Why did they think that it was right to tell you that there's a no shouting?
I think they were just proud of the fact that they were a school that there was no shouting, because shouting is like a thing in schools. Sit down. See, my daughter's 15, so she lets me into all these secrets in schools and stuff. And she's like, "Mum, when teachers shout, we love it because we know they've lost control. So we just can't, She goes, "Not me, of course, because I'm well behaved." I'm like, whatever. But she's like, we know that teachers lost control, so we find it hilarious. And it is that, isn't it? Wow. That they have totally lost control and the kids have kind of won.
It's
but
kind of won.
Yeah, I think we can unconsciously behave a certain way, and this. It's all about what we've learned from parents and from other people in our lives. But it does help us to think about really thinking about our own behaviour. I'm coaching a young boy. Just finished coaching him before I came on here, and he's witnessed domestic violence in the family, father to mother, and he had got into a habit of hitting his mum. He's only 10 years old. And then when we've talked about it, he has said, "Well, I saw Dad doing this, and I just thought, well, I would try as well." And we said, and so we had the conversation about, so how did you feel when you saw Dad doing it? "I didn't think it was right. So what do you think? What do you think you want to do then? And what would your reputation be if you continued doing this?" "Oh, I don't want to do it." So he's gone 2 weeks now without getting into trouble at school and without hitting Mum, and we're like, "Yeah." That you're saying that to a 10-year-old. It's amazing that you've not hit your mum, but it is amazing that he's changed his behaviour.
Yeah, that is absolutely that, because that could be a potential, I don't want to label him, but potential wife beating situation going forward, and when he gets older, which could then destroy his own family and destroy his kids again. So it's like there's a circle of behaviour, isn't it? And you're taking them off that pattern and showing them something different, which is really good to see. Question then, you as an entrepreneur and a business owner, how do you deal with mum's guilt?
Well, I've had some of that. Before I was an entrepreneur, actually, when I had my job, I think there was more guilt then, because I was working crazy hours. But I loved my job, like I said, but I was working really crazy hours. Olivia was dropped off at Breakfast Club at 7:30. We talked about this a few months ago. I said, "Do you remember those days when I used to ring after school club to say, I'm going to be late? Can you stay with my daughter for me?" And they finished at 6, and I'd get there at 6:15, and she'd be the only child there. I'm like, oh God. But I say to her, I said, you know why I was working hard and why I'm working hard now. You know, it's for all of us. We all benefit. You know, we've got a nice house and we have nice holidays when we could go away. But now that I work for myself, I've been able to be a bit more flexible. So I'm a get up at 5 o'clock person. So I'm up at 5 while everyone else is sleeping, and I just get lots of admin done. And when she comes home from school, like today, she came home from school and I'm downstairs and we had some tea and we've been out shopping. And now she's cooking with Dad while they know that I'm on here. So working for myself, I've been able to manage that a bit better. But I think it's just explaining to your children why you're doing what you're doing. And just being honest, I think.
I like that. I love that. Karen, you've been an absolute superstar. Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to add that we've not already asked?
One of the things we talk to children about, and I think this is where you came in again, Paula, anyone listening will know that, Paula, you've influenced me more than I've probably thought about until now. And we say this to children a lot, the people that you surround yourself with are so, so, so important. You know, they can make you or break you. And people like you, my boss, my ex-boss, Steve Close, you know, my mum was a real inspiration. My husband is a pain in the backside, but he's he's worse than me in terms of, of course you can reach 1 million kids, just crack on. He's a bit of that. But yeah, I think just really think about the people that you surround yourself with and your children and who they surround themselves with. And I don't tell children not to have friends, but I do just say, when you're with that person, how do you feel when you're going to meet that person? How do you feel when you're with them? And how do you feel when you walk away? And if it's, I feel crap, maybe you just need to think about how much time will you spend with them. But if it's, I look forward to seeing them and I'm great when I'm with them and I feel really empowered and happy when I leave them, they're the right people for you.
Yeah, absolutely so true on that one, Karen. Absolutely spot on. Isn't it interesting, the power of 5 that you hang about with can make
Yeah.
or break you? Yeah. Oh, by the way, just on the last note, so you know my little daughter Emily,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I've taught her to do something that's totally backfired on me. So when we're doing something naughty, we go shh. So it's like not telling mummy shh. But that's when she wants to get chocolate. Shh. She does that now all the time. Shh. So
No,
those,
you, Paula.
yes. So yeah, that's what NLP teaches you. You know, anchoring. And I forgot. I just totally forgot. I just thought, oh, let's be secret. So she's probably coming to you in years to come.
Yeah, I'll get her on my list.
Another one. Can I say thank you so much, Karen? I really, really appreciate you sharing your story. I know that would have helped so many people out there. And Brian for coming along and helping us ask Karen the great questions. So thank you so much, and I have fun.
Thank you, and thanks for everything you've done to help me, Paula. You've been an absolute star. Thank you.
You've done it all. You've done it all. So you just keep on helping those kids. Oh, by the way, the last question is, do you have a podcast or video, YouTube channel or anything where you put out all your teachings for your kids?
I've got a website that I put my blogs on. I've got another blog coming out very soon. We've done one on resilience and we've done one on conversations and we've done one on something else. So I've got my website. We are going to be working on, so Case, the guy that did my website, is talking about, you need to be doing podcasts and you need to be on YouTube and you need to, and I'm like, oh my God. So that they'll be coming next.
Get your ass into gear, Karen. All those
I'm slacking. I'm slacking. But when I do those things, I will let you know.
Fab. Brian, do you got anything else to add?
I'll
be in touch. I need you in my life. You're just awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, right, Karen. I love you and leave you, but thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye.